What's good, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to some therapy with Barry B. Let's get right into it. Today, we're gonna talk toxic relationships, man. Man, I feel like, if I'm being honest, I feel like for a while, dating has already been transitioning from this real intimate thing where you spend time with people and you go out, you get a bite to eat, you may go have some drinks, you might even go to the movies, go popcorn, kick your feet up, all that good stuff, and it's transitioning into this thing where it's completely like, what's up, baby? How you doing, baby? Ooh, I really like you. Like dating has turned into this completely digital thing, especially with the pandemic. So just figuring out how to maneuver that field, and also when you cross the threshold of dating and get into actually having a relationship, how do you identify whether or not that relationship is one that is quote unquote toxic, and if it is worth maintaining and keeping, or getting it out of there. So real quick, if you haven't already did that and you seeing this video, make sure that you punch that subscribe. Make sure you hit this like on this video, get my interactions up, because that's the only way that we're gonna make it. That's the only way that I can keep doing this. I can't keep on pushing out content if it ain't getting nowhere. So help me get somewhere if you find what I bring to the table that's valuable. But let's get into it. First things first, like I mentioned before, dating is just turning into this crazy thing where it's no longer you sitting in front of somebody, talking to them, interacting with them, getting real with them, getting to know them. It's more behind the screen. And when it comes to navigating that field, there can be a lot of things and a lot of pressures that come into play psychologically that can affect the way that you interact with another person. One of the biggest things that I've noticed and that I see at play in that realm and in that aspect is trying to be good enough for the rest of the world. It's easy to put on this front, and it's easy to put on this poker face, and it's easy to put on this mask of who we are when we don't necessarily have to actually be present. And so then it kind of inhibits or even places a barrier in between two people, because when you first meet somebody face to face, even though you got your best self on, you have to be a little more transparent, because that person is seeing you for you. Behind that screen, that person's not seeing you, and so you could be anybody that you want to be. You can say all the things that you want to say, or that you feel like you don't have the confidence to say in front of a person. You can be that person that you want to be. And on one hand, that's a double-edged sword, because for some people that's a confidence booster, but then on the other hand, that can work in their detriment, because then when it comes to actually developing that relationship and growing that relationship genuinely and being the genuine and authentic you, people kind of get lost in translation, or as they say, lost in the sauce. Because for the longest time, this image is being put on, that I want this person like me, so I gotta be this person. I know people like this type of person, so I gotta put this type of image on, instead of genuinely being themselves. And so that's one of the biggest barriers that I'm seeing when it comes to dating in today's age. All right, number two, I think. It's a big one. I think that expectations when it comes to who has responsibility in the dating process isn't really clear anymore. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I also don't think it's not really a good thing either, because people are just lost. They're confused. There's a lot of people who have certain expectations, but they don't ever say them. There are people who have certain expectations and they blatantly say them. But their actions then don't align with those expectations. And we can see that in today's age with dating. I know growing up, one of the big things is the guy is paying for the first date, right? You take the person who you're asking out to the movies. And I'm speaking from a heteronormative standpoint, because that's the lens that I see, but I acknowledge on the same side that heteronormative is not the only type of relationship that people can engage in. So just a disclosure, I'm not pushing that to the side, but I'm just speaking from heteronormative standpoint. The guy pays for the date on the first date, but now we are seeing this thing where, does the guy pay for the first date? Does the woman pay for the first date? Do we go 50-50? And you'll see a lot of times that there's a lot of confusion and a lot of lack of understanding behind this, which can cause discourse when it comes to actually getting to know somebody and connecting and clicking with somebody, because there is no clear expectation. And people don't usually communicate with it. People don't communicate about that. Now we're gonna fast forward real quick and we're gonna progress to where when we get into a relationship. So let's say we dating, everything is good, everything is fine, we in love, we spending all the time together. Yeah, I know everybody done had that phase before. I done had that phase before with my lady. And then next thing you know, you finding out that the source of your that headache that don't seem to go away. When or do I even exit or abandon the relationship? Now, something that I've noticed with this, at least with myself, I'm gonna speak from a personal standpoint. I used to, as a defense mechanism, I would push away anytime there was confrontation. Like I said, once we get past that honeymoon phase, once we actually start getting comfortable and we start saying no, I don't like this, or I want more of this, or I don't agree with you here, and all of these real emotions and feelings and thoughts start to come out, I would push away and I would be ready to leave. And it was a defense mechanism for me. And we see this a lot in relationships. Typically, when people revert to this defense mechanism, it's when they've been hurt before, and they use the pushing away as a way to kind of protect their own emotions, so they don't have to feel it. They're like, before you can hurt me, I'm gonna just remove you and I'm gonna hurt you because I already see where this is going. But that's not healthy. That's not healthy. And being able to discern whether or not that's how we're acting, if we're acting off of just a defense mechanism, or if it's a true, I don't want to be here, it's going to be something that's key and something that's important. One of the biggest indicators to see whether or not you are truly experiencing that is, have I tried to talk to my partner about what's going on in a healthy way? Or do I even understand what healthy communication is myself? Does my partner understand what healthy communication is? Typically we don't. Typically when partners are communicating, it's like my partner's standing right in front of me and I'm gonna toss him a ball like that, but I throw it clear all the way over there and I say, go get it. The ball is the message, and I'm telling my partner to go get the message over there. And they're like, you know what? I see that. I ain't gonna go grab that message. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take my own message out. I'm standing right in front of my partner, and they throw it not at me, but all the way over there. This is how we typically communicate. We're taking these messages and we're throwing it all the way over there and all the way over there while our partner is standing right in front of us. And so they never receive the message that we're actually trying to communicate. And so one of the biggest ways that you can kind of tell if you are in a toxic relationship is by the way that you communicate. If neither partner is able to communicate in a way that you can receive the message, they can receive the message, and it can go back and forth, and you're both able to understand each other and able to come to a compromise or resolve situations, then it is toxic. But it doesn't mean it has to end there. Now, if you and your partner are willing to work on your communication and you're open about that, you acknowledge that, our communication is off and something got to change here. If you're able to acknowledge that, that's a step. That's a step. And you continue to build on that, because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. I don't care how many Nicholas Spark movies or, Love and Basketball, no, I don't care about how many of them come out. There ain't no such thing. No such thing as the perfect happy couple. None. It's work. It's always work. And so if you're willing to work on your communication with your partner, it's worth it. It's not gonna come overnight, just like, for somebody who wants to get yoked, or somebody who wants to become good at some type of craft. They ain't gonna just pick it up and all of a sudden become a beast at it. That ain't how it works. It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes practice over and over and over again. Now, on the flip side of that, you need to get about that relationship when your partner does not acknowledge that anything is wrong with them. It's you. If your partner is constantly blaming you, if your partner never takes accountability for any of their actions, my friend, it's time to get up out of that. Like that. It's time to go. Because you're gonna be in a battle that you'll never win. Ever. And I can't diagnose here behind this camera like this without knowing more, but more than likely you are dating somebody who has narcissistic tendencies. Don't tell them that, because it ain't gonna get you nothing. But I'm just saying. So, when it comes to identifying whether or not your relationship is toxic, really see what the communication is like. And if you can identify that our communication is off, talk to your partner about that and say, yo, I've been feeling like I've been trying to tell you some things, but I don't think I've been communicating in a way that you can understand it. And, I also feel like you trying to communicate something to me, but however you're saying it, I can't understand it. And so I think we need to work on our communication. But don't stop there. Go talk to somebody like me. Get some therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's crazy because as a therapist myself, me and my partner are in therapy. And not because our relationship is in a detrimental state or anything like that, but because we want to be able to grow. We want to be able to, cultivate something that can last for a long time. And I acknowledge, and she acknowledges that we ain't always right. I like to be right though, but I ain't always right. And she knows she ain't always right. But we both got feelings. We both got thoughts. And so being able to have somebody help us understand one another and give us skills, even as a therapist, give us skills to, continue to foster and cultivate our relationship is key. So, that's all I got for y'all today. It's real good to be back behind this camera. Yo, so if you have a topic that you want to know about, if there's something that you want me to speak on, anything, well, not anything, but you know what I'm saying, like anything, mental health, relationship, any of that, go ahead, hit me up in this comment section. If you're seeing this on IG or Facebook, go ahead and drop in my DMs. Please be respectful though, because if you're not, you ain't gonna hear back from me. I promise you that. But I thank y'all for tuning in to some therapy with Barry B.